And it looks like we are live. Welcome back to Mind Your Biz. My name's Seth.
And I'm Mrs. Mind Your Biz.
And today we've got phenomenal news lined up for you. We've got news about Circle Group and USDC. We've got news about Gary Gensler versus the United States Congress.
Woohoo.
We've got, finally, right? We've got news about, well, internationally about Nigeria and some of the implications of going to crypto, turning to crypto versus the dollar. We've got news about fine art NFTs and the classification by the SEC. We've got news about various other NFT collections and various other little tidbits, including the Restrict Act. Don't go anywhere. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, be subscribed right now and share this link while we're live. Your support means so much. But Mrs. Mind Your Biz, should we just jump into the news?
Let's hop right in.
All right. So today we've got a Fear and Greed Index score. What do we got?
57. It's even down a little bit more from before.
Wow. It's almost like, these things move cyclically. But let's take a look at our Bitcoin chart really fast. The chopsticks apparently still have us within kind of this range right now, and it's hilarious. Somebody hit me up. Somebody actually went out of their way to show me hate in the DMs. They're like, don't ever do TA again. I'm like, I don't do TA. I don't technically show technical analysis on this show.
When was that?
The other day, right? They were like, they saw the chopsticks and they went insane. I see Yankee in the chat showing an eagle, a bald eagle. Thank you so much for that, Yankee. Good to see you here. As always, miss your face while we're live streaming, while we're talking about crypto. As you know, we've stayed the course. We have stayed the course, my friend. In terms of the broader cryptocurrency ecosystem. Hope things are going well for you. Hope you're hoping you're ventilating more of those GPUs. Lord knows they need it. That's true. Always. Need more ventilation, more cooling. Paul D's Nuts is in fact second, but says, I am the first. There shall be no false firsts before me. I don't know, man. I think that Yankee, as he's wont to do, he put himself first. Damn Yankees.
Fight it out. Fight,
all right.
Fight.
Yeah. Wow. There you go. Mama Biz doing what she should, encouraging the boys to fight.
I like a good fight.
All right. So let's look at crypto bubbles. What stands out to you here, Mrs. Mind Your Biz?
CAS, K-A-S. Is that CASPA?
This is CASPA Network. Yeah, we talked about this the last live stream, and we had a commenter mention. I'm totally drawing a blank on exactly who it was, but we had somebody in the comments mention, "Hey, you should look at CASPA. It's going to melt faces this week," and apparently it has. Does that mean it's a coordinated pump? Does that mean that there are influencers or key opinion leaders that could be accused of trying to pump unregistered securities? I don't know. But would you find that here at Mind Your Biz? Do we pump things? Do we pump projects?
No.
Do we even give financial advice?
We give opinions.
Yeah. Maybe we should run the red screen. We do not give financial or investing advice on this show. We do occasionally go over the fundamentals of projects, and we will give overviews. And occasionally we do take paid sponsorships in order to give those overviews because it pays for my time. My time is very valuable. I mean, I don't even need to say it. Nobody should have to say it. But your time is valuable. Humans' time is valuable. And if you have expertise, you can put a dollar amount to that time.
But you tell people when you do that.
I do. I disclose when I make time for those overviews, and I'm usually pretty careful not to give price predictions, very specific price predictions, or call for something to pump. I think that's a huge mistake. I think BitBoy is learning that the hard way. Ben Armstrong, who he's been nothing but kind to us and our family, nothing but kind to me personally. But I think that it's been a rough road for him, very, very bumpy road for him. And I think it will be a bumpy road for any influencer who, whether knowingly or ignorantly, tries to promote and pump their own bags. So you got to be careful with that.
Jake Paul, we're looking at you.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's only so many warnings you can give before influencers should start to figure it out that there's a better way to do it. You got to be really careful. But it looks like everything's up. Conflux, even Hex is kind of back up in that little 8-cent range. Projects I'm not even familiar with, like Mask Network, Polkadot, which has not been having a really great run all that much recently, but this week has been pretty solid, last day as well. Cosmos, ironically, down, right? It's kind of funny. Cosmos is down. Yankee sends the emojis, clock equals bag of cash, which I think literally means time equals money.
No. Is that what that means?
This guy gets it.
He gets it.
But
Smart guy.
Render token, also Frax Share, which was already kind of on its way up. Lido for staking. Algorand, Stacks, all kinds of projects that most people would agree have relatively strong fundamentals. They're going back up. Now, of course, it's a rising tide. There are plenty of projects that don't have strong fundamentals that are also going up, right? So just be very, very cautious when there are market pumps like this. It turns into everyone is a genius. I'm a genius season. Don't believe falsely that just because your bag is going up, that you're a genius. And hey, what I will say is be careful in terms of taking profits. Paul D says, Jake Paul gets a face tattoo in 2023. You heard it here first. That is a good price prediction. Would you be willing to bet money on it? There's probably a decentralized wagering service or, prediction market service.
Not financial advice.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you want to put your money where your face is and your face tattoos, go ahead. Be my guest. But I probably won't be your counterparty. I probably won't take you up on that bet. All right. That's our crypto bubbles right there. Man, yeah, so many decent projects, but so many mid projects too. Just be really cautious, right? You got even Luna Classic is up a little bit over the last 24 hours. So stay safe out there. Just as a reminder, we are not going over this in depth today. We might do a dedicated episode just on mining performance. And we might go over the general profiles of GPUs, CPUs, FPGAs. Over the last 5 years, I generally will refresh a little spreadsheet that I make, Mom Biz, where I give away a sort of a structured system of calculating your own hash per dollar per watt. It's a very important final calculation that anybody who's interested in mining would need to know. It's a single number that tells you the ratio of all these different things so you can make a better decision about what you want to buy. You still have to do some long-term projections and figure out whether or not it's a smart choice for you. So I'm just throwing out that disclaimer. The reason that I haven't done that, again, in recent probably last couple of years is because time is money. And I, as a public service, have only been able to carve out so much of it. So, I mean, let me know if that's something you're interested in. Maybe we'll do that once we get the newsletter back up and running. Mrs. Mind Your Biz.
Yes.
Did you know
what?
That our newsletter at Substack was shut down?
Oh, I heard about that. It was so sad.
Yeah, it's very disheartening. You grow past a certain number of recipients and yeah. Sometimes they just start saying, well, this is expensive for us. And specifically, it's like, like with MailChimp too. They'll give you 1,000 free subscriptions. They used to give you 2,000. We got shut down over at Substack.
They could have at least made an offer for you to pay for a service or something.
Yeah, they could have. We will probably be using a different service. They're a little bit upset by that. And we'll probably have to roll our own using one of the AWS or other mail services.
Take that, Substack.
Yeah. Automatic Pete says, good morning. Lots of bangs behind that good morning. I only drank one Bang Energy, but Automatic Beats has 3, apparently.
Dang, you guys. Careful.
Also, we're blasting YouTube with bitrate right now. We're only streaming at 1440p, but we are absolutely fire hosing the YouTube servers so that you get a nice, clean, crisp signal. We're going to let their servers transcode this later on. Thank you very much, YouTube. We're going to send you as much data as we can, and you can sort through it later on. Why? Because we can. All right. Just a reminder that while I am no longer publishing that spreadsheet, not actively updating it, services like hashrate.no do a really great job of looking this up with real-time data feeds and updating this as needed without any additional manual input. It's very easy to see what your gainers are, what your losers are, essentially by inverse reasoning, right? So, and let's see, proof of memes, Conflux. Yankee says Auth SMTP is a good relay company, affordable. Here's the thing. I don't know that we actually need it. We have enough bandwidth that we could be multi-streaming to Twitch right now in 4K and YouTube and probably an additional one just with our own, without having to use an SMTP relay server. But thank you for the suggestion. I will log that one away. So yeah, price gainers, earning gainers, reward gainers, they frame it in so many different ways. And you might be asking, what is the difference there? There is a subtle difference. We'll go over it on another video. Maybe that's the right way to do this. Go over how to use this tool so that you can maybe make your own projections and your own spreadsheets. Because
My question is, how do they come up with some of these names? Raptorium, Eternity, Chinet. I mean, isn't Chinet like a paper plate?
It is like a paper plate. Yes, actually, that is the name of an old paper plate company. Raptorium and Bitorium and Alephium, they're sort of a naming convention in crypto where you make something sound ethereal, and so you put Ethereum at the end.
Or Fyro.
Yeah, yes. That used to be called Zcoin.
Oh.
And they were like, Zcoin is kind of a weird name. It's okay. And people knew it. It was branded. But there's Zcash, too.
So then they were like, oh, we don't want to be confused with them. So Fyro.
Exactly. And it sounds almost like a coin. So when you go to Turkey or to Italy, their native currency is called a what?
Oh, gosh.
Starts with an L.
You're asking me to think.
Yes, I am.
Lithium. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so tired.
Give Mrs. Mind Your Biz a hint in chat. Give her a hand with that. But the point is, it's a 4-letter word that...
Lido?
Close.
Liro? The Lear?
Close.
Oh,
you're one letter
I'm
away.
almost there. Lira.
It's the lira.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, you remember it.
Oh, brain's working. Yay.
So with the lira, right? You just know that that's the name of their local currency. And with Firo, that was kind of I think part of the idea behind it. Diego Salazar, who was part of the Monero community and an active contributor to Monero, he also, he submitted a proposal to help with some of the rebranding of Zcoin, and they were like, what do we want to do? Well, we want to make it a very easy to recognize logo, and then make it a name that sounds like money. So Lira, people know that's money. Internationally, they know it's money. There are millions of people around the world who use Lira. And then it's like, Firo. Sounds like money. But
so
it's not already...
Not Fyro.
I mean, you can call it Fyro if you want to.
Fyro.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it Fyro and embarrass you someday in front of somebody.
It's Fire Engine Red. Here's the thing. You can't, you can't embarrass me. We have enough experiences that it's like, at this point, you practically can't embarrass me.
I could try.
Okay. Well, it wasn't an invitation, but yeah, just saying. So moving on. Cassius Cuvée is in the chat saying true. Cassius is
What's
in the
up?
house. Guys, show some love to Cassius. If you're not checking out his channel, you should go check out Poppin' Crypto. Just saying, he's one of the real ones. He puts in the interviews. He actually understands a bit of the tech enough to be able to interview founders. Takes it from more of the corporate and investing perspective. His crypto coverage, mad respect to the homie Cassius. You should really be following his content, and you should be listening in on some of his Web3 art. So... The Deadwood says, good morning, Mama and Papa Biz family. Paul D says, I love 4-letter words.
Me too.
I like totals. All right. So hashrate.no, just be aware. This is a data source, a feed that you can use. It's a very useful tool if you are currently mining or if you're interested in getting into proof of work. All right. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Okay. Speaking of which, I'm gonna eat a little something. What is this thing?
Oh, this is what do they call this bill? The Restrict Act. I'm going to call it the Patriot Act 2.0.
Yeah.
So this is, I guess, initially about the TikTok ban.
This is like the cocaine bear of legislation. The cocaine bear of legislation.
Yeah. So they've been talking about banning TikTok for security reasons in Congress, and they've drafted up this bill. But in the bill, they put in there that if you use a VPN, you could be sent to jail for up to 20 years or fined. I think what I read recently, initially I read $1 million in one article, but more recently I read that the fine could be $250,000. So, they're being a little bit more gentle with that paddle, with that one. Only $250,000 fine if you use a VPN.
Yeah, we need a soundboard and a meme board back over here on the stream deck because I really need the This Is Fine dog right now.
Oh, flames all around my face. Oh my gosh.
This is fine.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
And why would they do that?
Just to say that this is important legislation for you to be aware of if you are American. If you are not American, it's still important for you to be aware of because it actually has language in the bill that speaks to you as a non-citizen. It's crazy. in its overreach. It's absolutely insane. Apologies for eating while we are live streaming.
But that, in short, call your congressmen, call your senators, let them know you don't like this. Guess who was part of the committee that drafted this
I don't
bill?
know.
There were a number of. It was a bipartisan effort, including like the former. He ran for president. Mitt Romney was one of the guys on this one.
You're a piece of work, Mitt Romney. Go ahead and clip this out. I really don't like you or your work. Yeah, I say you're a piece of work, meaning I don't like you. Retire. Please. Just go live somewhere remote.
So, yeah, that's the Restrict Act. More government spying on the people to keep us safe.
Yeah.
I feel safe. Do you guys feel safe?
Yep. So, oh my gosh. Cassius Cuvée says, Mind your business, can you please articulate the argument for why VPNs should be legal in the USA? Well, first off, I'm gonna start with this legal frame. I don't think that I should ever be put on the back foot to defend a right that I already enjoy. Fair? So we'll start with that. Freedom first. Freedom orientation first, especially when it comes to people being, we'll just enumerate some amendments here that are important, right? First Amendment, pretty important. Freedom of speech. Online, your only freedom of speech is through privacy-preserving technology. Once you post to a public forum and once you post to say a social media platform that is owned by a private company, you no longer have freedom of speech. I have no illusions about whether or not I am free to say anything I want in this forum or on Twitter. I'm not. Just like how you're not free to walk into a crowded building and yell fire. There are consequences for that. You're free to say it. You're not free from consequences, if that makes sense. And if you want to be free from the consequences of being misunderstood, you need privacy. VPNs preserve that because they allow you an encrypted tunnel between one endpoint to another on the internet. It's just one way that you can do that. It also allows you to freely view other information without being directly observed by a third party. Behavior observed is behavior altered. So, I mean, and this has just been proven over and over and over again in double-blind studies. So, yeah, just starting there. And I appreciate you following it up. And then I don't mean it personally when I say, hey, we're going to start with that freedom orientation. He says, I'm asking so that others can learn the best way to explain it to friends and family and Congress people. Yankee says VPNs should be legal so I can watch Canadian Netflix shows. I mean, hey.
Here.
Canadians are American too, technically, Yankee. They're just not as American as we are.
They're North Americans. North Americans.
North of North Americans, yeah. North by Northwest. North by North.
They're North Arctic Americans.
Yeah. Paul D says the government doesn't have a right to know who you are communicating with at all times. End of story. Yes. So let's talk about our the rights that are preserved by the amendments to the Constitution, right? Because here's the first thing. They're not granted by the Constitution at all, right? Those are natural rights. You can call them God-given rights. You can call them universal rights that are just fundamental to being human. They're granted to you by your creator at the time of birth. You're free to defend yourself. If you go and poke a bear in the woods, you're probably going to get mauled. If you go and pick up a stick and try to chase around a mountain lion, you're probably going to end up dead. They have a natural right to defend themselves. You do too. And I'll just leave it at that with the Second Amendment here in the United States. That's part of it. It's also, there are other reasons that's set up. But Third Amendment, it's a little bit less common that we need to worry about it. But your home should not be someplace that the federal government can just go park a militia or armed forces inside of. That should just be true. You shouldn't have to worry about your stuff being commandeered for that purpose. The Fourth Amendment is another really, really important one. This is what I was going to get at. But Fourth and Fifth, these are key to the First Amendment. If you don't know them, get a copy of the Constitution, get a pocket Constitution. You need to know at least these first five by heart because they are so personal. They matter so much to your personal freedom, to liberty as lived day in, day out here in the United States. But fourth is unreasonable search and seizure. It's supposed to protect you from unreasonable search and seizure. That you should be secure in your documents, in your papers, and your communications. That would extend today to digital communication. And there is legal precedent at the federal level for it extending to your digital footprint. Encryption and VPNs protect your Fourth Amendment rights to be secure in your papers and in your documents. So that's another huge part of it. I'm so glad you asked, Cassius. And I'm not like some constitutional attorney. It's just that this really matters to me because this is my freedom on the line.
It should matter to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, totally, right? And then Fifth Amendment right, you've heard it a bajillion times in TV shows and movies and stuff.
I plead the fifth.
You have the right to remain silent. What does that mean in the modern world with a digital footprint everywhere? That means that you have to have the ability to be private. If you don't retain the ability to be private in your communications, you have no right to remain silent. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. There's stuff that other people just don't need to hear, including your thoughts. So you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to remain unobserved and private. So this bill it's a dumpster fire in terms of constitutionally protected rights, human rights that just happen to be written into our Constitution because they're so important that they need to be enshrined in legal documents that a federal government would have to honor. So anyway, I'm getting kind of fired up because you asked me for a compelling argument. That was a very passionate argument on my part. I hope that some of those arguments you feel are compelling and useful for you to talk to friends and family, and then, to be used in Congress. But with Congress in particular, man, you got to keep them on the back foot because clearly this Congress, clearly this administration, clearly modern federal governments seem to think that it is their right and privilege to take over every bit of our communication, take away every bit of our privacy, take away our bodily autonomy. And I'm not talking about abortion. I'm talking about just your ability to just say, hey, don't touch me like that. Don't inject me with something that is unproven because you're literally violating international treaty by injecting me, right? We discovered this in Nuremberg after World War II. And now this administration seems to think it's okay to just inject you with any experimental drug they see fit. Damn these people. I mean, damn them to hell. There is a special place reserved for them. They've done terrible things in the name of progress and terrible things in the name of our security, but it's all been for show. It's all been theater. So yeah, this for me is like, it's been the last straw for a minute, and now we've got this bill that tries to codify that they can take away any last shred of privacy that we could have online. It was already bad enough with the Patriot Act. I mean,
if anything, we should be walking the Patriot Act back.
Yeah, absolutely. Mrs. Mind Your Biz and I, she knew at that time that in the years since the Patriot Act, I've had serious concerns about how much privilege we've given our federal government to just name somebody an enemy combatant, just say like, oh, we found this communication on your computer, which means you're an enemy combatant. We now have the right to send you to Guantanamo Bay and detain you indefinitely until we come up with a reason. No habeas corpus. When you're there, like they can practically just lock you up, throw away the key, and give zero reasons publicly. That terrifies me. It should terrify every person in the United States, but especially if you're an adult male who is the age to fight in this, because I mean they don't target the ones that are helpless. They don't target the ones that are not a threat ever. Anyway, just saying, I have a lot of concerns about the direction that our country has been going in my adult life. I do not like it. I don't want to live in this world. We must change it. It's already gone off the rails a bit. So, yeah. Whew. Yeah, it scares me half to death. Cassius is mentioning they can and have done that. Yeah, right.
Yep.
And I mean here domestically as well. We can get into prison reform domestically as well, because all this stuff is it's all intertwined, right? So prison reform, the fact that there are victimless offenses that have gotten people locked up for life, absolutely ruined lives, absolutely made fatherless homes, which has increased the poverty problem in this country. And I don't even want to I don't want to make that about race. I want to make it about socioeconomic standing that's been reinforced by a bad prison system and a bad legal system. We've got so many things to fix there. But this ain't fixing it. This ain't helping at all. Yeah. And Flatsmack brings up some pretty great facts here. I think this is important. He says, take away their guns. No reason government should have guns based on the millions of people they shoot every day. I mean, you're not wrong. Like most federal employees would not, they wouldn't pass my background check to be issued a firearm. I know I pass a background check for firearms, but I don't think they would pass my background check. I don't think that they're mentally stable enough based on the way that they treat their people. Just saying. Anyway, yeah, you really did get me on a tear there, Cassius. This is very important to me.
We'll see if the channel's still on YouTube tomorrow.
I know, right? Glowy boys showing up like, hey, so we heard you have opinions. We don't like them. Yeah, thanks, guys. Really, I needed you to police that. Maybe we should get into the news.
Maybe.
But I will encourage anybody who's in the chat, please do read this. It's available at congress.gov, 118 bills S686. You can find the full text, fully unadulterated. It's right there and shows you each page, 55 pages, though these are short pages. You can tell the type spacing is very narrow, so it doesn't read like 55 dense pages in a book. It's much shorter read than that. But strongly encourage you to take a look through this because the language that it uses is so broad in terms of who it applies to. And yeah, Congress does need to hear that argument. It flies in the face of the first, especially the First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendments when you talk about taking away VPN access. Damn these people to hell. But first, put them on the back foot and give them a metaphorical, poke to the jaw.
Boom.
So let's talk about some of the actual crypto news, shall we?
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah. Good news for USDC. They're taking a gamble on Cosmos. How did Atom react? Well, we already saw. The Atom token itself, down. Not down bad, but it's down. Still in the top 25, though. I mean, it is a top 25 project. Billions in market cap. And, I mean, I've actually used this network, and it's very usable. Just it has a tokenomic problem still. So unless they fix it, it has a tokenomics problem. We'll see how well that turns out for them. But they're going to try to issue USDC on that network. Maybe that helps turn it around. But yeah, is anybody here into the IBC gang? Anybody here using Cosmos and the Cosmoverse? Tell me. Let me know. Cassius Cuvée, we need the Mind Your Biz standard for background checks.
Yes, we do.
Seth says, I didn't know I'd like you this much, Seth. You're all right. I don't care what people say about you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Whew. Yeah, it's a weight off my shoulders, man. Seriously, I lost some sleep over that. But Seth, you're all right too, man. We got to grab some green chilies and throw them on top of whatever else is made in Albuquerque next time I'm in town. Oh, that was not shade. It was outright shadow, man. It was. Love your face, brother. So. Looks like Circle has got some other news with USDC. What's going on?
It looks like they want direct holding of USDC by the Federal Reserve.
Oh, my.
Oh.
Yeah, if the narrative of it being the de facto CBDC was not strong before.
I think you could call it that now.
Yeah, pretty much. They're as activists, they just epoxied their hands to the thing that they're all about, right? They're like, oh, you can't get rid of us now. Yeah, we know. Thanks, Circle Group. Thanks. A bunch of jerks.
There it is.
Yep, the Circle jerks. I said it. All right. Anyway. But apparently they're working on growth, aiming to establish a presence in Europe. We already knew that. They're looking at creating a Euro version of their product. And, if it instills confidence, then fine. As long as we still have ZK mixing, maybe, I guess we're okay. But I just don't believe that this is the future. USDC is not in my portfolio as dry powder. It never will be at this point. There's just no upside at all. And any of the contracting work that I do, and Cesar can attest to this, any of the contracting work that I do will not involve holding USDC if I can avoid it. So just be aware. My money is where my mouth is. We're using projects that can be considered a little more decentralized, a little more permissionless, and have fewer controls in place. That is dangerous freedom, and I like it. I'm here for it. You ever noticed when you see me in person, I've got a lot of dental work done? I know, random. You ever notice that? Got a fake tooth here, fake tooth there. Actually missing a couple as well. Ever wonder why that is? Yeah. Dangerous freedom. Dangerous freedom.
You want
That's
to tell
sweet.
them how you lost that front tooth?
Which time? Yeah, which time?
Let's go with the first time.
Well, we'll just say it had to do with firearms. So I'm going to leave it at that. And no, it wasn't. And it wasn't when I was. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
If you've ever seen A Christmas Story, you might have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it's kind of close. Yeah. Anyway, point is, dangerous freedom. I will take it. That was the nice thing about being an American, and I am truly sad that dangerous freedom is being lost from the Western narrative. We used to be pioneers. We used to go literally out into the wilderness and make something from nothing and be unafraid of making something from nothing. And it feels like now the bar is just so low. It's so incredibly low. We're telling Zoomers they don't have to take any risks and that everything should have a safety net and that they shouldn't work hard at all for anything at all. I don't want to live in this world. I want to push back against it. I want to change it. Hopefully y'all feel somewhat the same as far as that goes. Do me a solid. I see we have quite a pop in viewership. Hit that thumbs up. Share the link while we're live. It helps so much. Definitely appreciate your support. But hey, sweets, what do we got here?
Let's see. NFT collection Utes makes anticipated move from Solana to Polygon.
Yeah, and it's successful. Got some of our friends. Wendy O is she's apparently involved in Utes. She's a Utes holder. She was able to do this without any difficulty. That said, Wendy's very smart about getting help when she needs it. If she's like, hey, this is right on the edge of my understanding, I should ask somebody to walk me through it. She's really good about that. And I'm just going to say for the benefit of the audience, especially among dudes, it's really easy to be like, oh, I can figure this out. And then you totally burn something or you wreck something or you take something apart, put it back together. You got spare parts, right? Yeah.
Where did that screw come from?
Yeah. Nuts and bolts are just lying around. It's like, hey, put that in the spare hardware bin. Don't be that person when it comes to migrating any of your tokens or your NFTs. Ask for help. Find somebody who knows. Look for a legit tutorial. Don't risk burning your net worth. It can happen, right, in crypto. Dangerous freedom. So ask for help. And what else we got? Gate.io?
Gate.io suspends withdrawals of SafeMoon following public burn bug exploit.
Yeah, are we really surprised by this?
Well, I was, because I had no idea what SafeMoon was, so I was really looking forward to your explanation of what happened here.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Well, SafeMoon has been kind of known to be a little overly centralized for quite some time. You may remember on the Seth Estrada channel, I think, just going to rebrand it to Seth Estrada instead of it being Mind Your Biz Classic. But Mind Your Biz Classic, currently Seth Estrada channel, I did a review of a project called SaferMoon. I did an overview of a project called SaferMoon. Some of the principals from this project saw early on that there were serious problems. And they were like, yeah, no, we're out. We're going to make something. We're going to fork the code and we're going to correct some stuff. Is that an endorsement? No. Do I hold any of either of those projects? No. I don't generally hold that many speculative tokens. There's a few. I'll get a little degenerate with some speculative tokens.
But you don't get to know what they are.
Pretty much. Yeah. I don't publish wallets. And I that's just it. I really don't think that you should either. I think it's an incredibly stupid decision to try to publish all of your wallets. And I think it's an incredibly stupid decision to pretend like you don't have wallets that are kept out of the public view. Just the Mind Your Biz is not just a fancy name for the channel. It's a lifestyle and an attitude. Automatic Pete says, I only hold Feathercoin. Awesome. Gordon Murray's in the chat, says, hello, good sir. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate that.
Gordon, you should have gotten in earlier. You missed the rant. It was so good.
Yeah. See, Cesar says, what's that quote? Those who would trade freedom for liberty. Yeah. Essentially, I think you're quoting Benjamin Franklin, and it might be a little bit off. Yeah. So those who would trade essential freedom for security deserve neither. And also said, give me liberty or give me ... Y'all know the quote. Mm-hmm. You know what comes next. Appreciate that. Yep. Stay free. All right. More news coming out of Africa.
Okay. Nigerian crypto investors question central bank's decision to flag person-to-person users. P2P. Is that right? Person-to-person?
Yeah. Peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer.
Yeah.
P2P. Peer-to-peer users.
Yeah. So apparently they're worried about money laundering, so we can't have peer-to-peer use of cryptocurrencies. That would be a problem. That's not what Satoshi wanted.
I'm sure there's no money laundering happening through their central banks at all.
right? Or through, I mean, and the other systems that they have, like M-Pesa. I think Nigeria is one of the M-Pesa countries. So anytime there's value to be traded or arbitraged, somebody will come in and abuse the system. And usually they have a friend in government. Prove me wrong.
So what you're
Prove me
saying
wrong.
is crypto needs more friends in government.
Yeah, basically. I mean, in a way, it does. The only issue that I think politicians have with crypto is that if we were to do things the way that I think Satoshi had laid out in a lot of the forum posts and in the emails and the listserv, we would have public institutions keep their holdings public. They don't want that. They need slush funds. They want black ops. They don't like transparency, not one bit. And they haven't in the better part of 50, 60 years.
Maybe if ever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's true. But I think in particular, the formation of the FBI kind of marks a huge shift. And the CIA. A couple of our three-letter organizations, the formation of some of those organizations kind of marked a huge shift in whether or not our government was willing to operate above board. Here we are. Yeah, it's Cassius. Exactly, like central banks are squeaky clean. Dude, so much drug money, so much mob money, so much organized crime going through our central bank. Yeah, the central banks and then the retail banks too. It's like, you guys have got to know that, all of those billions that you just pushed through are like really bad. Yeah, toxic. Yeah, they don't like audits. They really don't like audits, but especially don't like audits of their own holdings, because that would, it shatters the fractional reserve paradigm entirely. To just say, oh, how much Bitcoin does this bank actually hold? Oh, 5%? 5% of stated amounts, right, as a reserve? Nah, that doesn't fly with Bitcoin. Now, full reserve banking apparently has never been done either. It's never been successfully done in any modern society. But
how does that apply to the gold standard, though?
The gold standard was supposed to have been fully reserved, and I think there were already problems with that. So when you get too far away from a hub where you have your notes issued, then you have an issue with convertibility. You wind up getting forgeries.
Okay.
It's paper. That's the problem. The problem is always paper. There's always derivatives. So the gold standard itself is a cool idea, but
good thing they got rid of that, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah, problem solved. We just said, you don't need reserves at all. I mean, we did say that in 2020, by the way. That was issued. The reserve, that amount, the reserve amount is no longer specified. You can literally hold zero reserves, 0% reserves as a retail bank or as a central partner bank.
And we wonder why the central banks are coming down so hard on crypto.
Yeah.
Oh, blood in the streets.
Yeah. Yep. Continue to invest in lead and brass, friends and countrymen. All right. This I'm pretty excited about. And you added this to our lineup today. Freeport clears an SEC Reg A for tokenized art offerings. Oh, well, this is interesting. Let's see. Yeah. So what that? What do you got, Mama Viz?
So basically, this was a collection that is it a collection? Oh no, it's a startup, but they do have a collection that they're now going to be minting. Selling.
Yes, yeah, tokenized art offerings, but they went through a Reg A.
Yeah, well, basically, it's just exciting that they actually got through the SEC process and got approval. That's actually the big deal, because all we've been getting from the SEC is one lawsuit after another, lack of clarity. Like, oh, so what are the regulations? Well, we're not going to tell you. So this was actually a pretty big deal, because now we have like some form of standard.
Yeah. It's, I think this is a great thing to see. I mean, I don't know how many tokenized fine art offerings we're ever going to see in the world, but I like seeing things be tokenized, useful things and physical items be tokenized so that we inject liquidity onto the chain. That said, I mean, disclosure, I am part of the emerging assets group. And I mean, yeah. I'm an advisor to the Emerging Assets Group and to Block 47. you'll be seeing more about that in the future. I don't want to shill, right? I just want to say that I'm a big fan of the core concept. Otherwise, I wouldn't be putting like my money where my mouth is. I wouldn't be putting my sweat where I want to see that growth in the industry. So this is exciting to me, but I'm not involved with Freeport at all. But very, very interesting. Yeah. Some more hauls and yeah.
Well, and it's what I find interesting about this is the fractionalization of the ownership of the NFT. So you don't have to be a millionaire to own a little piece of the Andy Warhol NFT.
Yeah. And specifically the Marilyn NFT or the Double Mickey or the Mick Jagger.
Well, I want some of the Marilyn, hun.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Everybody did. That's the problem. Was the problem. Wasn't enough to go around. Yeah. Not enough Marilyn to go around. But now there might be.
Now everyone can have a little piece of Marilyn.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe just a little bit. So Gordon Murray says, invest in BBB, bullets, beans, and Bitcoin. Yeah, beans are all right. Bullets are all right. Are they overrated? Probably not. Gary. Oh, Gary. Has your day of reckoning come? Maybe. But he does have to face Congress over the crypto policy. He's been running roughshod over so many crypto organizations, Library, Ripple, others. And it is time for him to have some congressional oversight. And I don't know if he's going to be able to answer questions to their liking. He'll probably be able to answer it to their understanding. And he's not an unintelligent guy, right? He did stand in as the professor for a course at MIT regarding cryptocurrency back in 2018. It's a decent course. I suggest that anybody who wants to figure out how this guy was educated, go watch that series. It'll open your eyes to who this guy really is and what his understanding of crypto really is. And also open your eyes to how big of a fraud he is here in this role, because he's trying to shut things down that he should know better than to shut down. But yeah, it's all the rage. All the news right now is of him going to this congressional oversight hearing. I'm excited about it.
I am too.
Yeah.
Actually, it was like I heard the song "At Last," and that's the only part.
Yeah. Yeah, right. The rest doesn't totally apply. But let's get our last little bit of news in right here. We've got 90% of Ethereum being held off crypto exchanges. Wow. That for me was like, go Ethereans. I mean, you're not hard money maximalists. You don't have as much in common with gold bugs as maybe Bitcoiners do, or preppers as maybe Bitcoiners do. But 90% being held off exchanges, that, to me, shows extremely good faith in decentralization and permissionlessness. Anyway, Mumbez, any other words for the miners before we go?
Oh, wow. Are we all done?
We're all done. That's the news for today.
That was super fast.
I know.
Except for the really long part.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, that part.
I got nothing.
That's what she said.
I'm sorry. Oh.
Anyway, miners, thank you so much for being subscribed. Thanks for sharing this. And thank you so much for your support. It means so much. Yeah, you're the reason we make this media. Love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz.